Hey guys, I've said many times I'm not a mind reader, but I'm pretty sure I can tell what at least some of you are thinking right now. You're thinking, Dave, you handsome devil, why are you wearing glasses? Well, I'm going to get to that at the end here, but most people watch my videos for pool content because it is a pool channel. I try to get a better angle here. And what I want to talk about here is the shot line versus the vision line when using contact points for aiming. These are the kind of things I've messed with before, but as I've gotten older and especially my depth perception has gotten worse, it's become more and more of a necessity. So I am basically trying to make a switch from ghost ball, which I've used for 40 years, to contact point aiming. And just anybody watching this probably already knows what that means. But what that means is, if I'm going to put this three ball right there, there's a point on this three that I want this cue ball to hit. This could also be like the beginner method. In the beginner method, on a shot like this, I can aim the center of the cue ball straight at that spot. And sometimes it'll go in, sometimes it won't. It's the beginner method. It doesn't take into account the fact that the balls are round. And I cannot hit that spot with the cue ball by aiming straight at it. The only time I can hit that spot by aiming straight at it is if it's a straight in shot. If I have a cut, the beginner method breaks down pretty quickly. The contact point method it's just an extension. So I have this spot on the three. Instead of aiming the center of the cue ball at that spot, I want to aim the part of the cue ball that needs to hit it at that spot. In other words, the part of the cue ball that's going to hit that contact point, when I shoot it correctly, is about right here. So I don't want to aim the center of the cue ball at that spot. I want to aim about right here at that spot. When I was first shown this method, I either didn't get it or I just wasn't told correctly. What I've always done, and the reason I've always kind of thought, no, I don't like the contact point method, it doesn't work for me, was I would line up a shot, like a normal person, with my vision center, whether it's going to be my dominant eye or my actual vision center. So there's some point up here that I'm seeing things from. I would line that up with what I call the shot line. The shot line is the direction the cue ball is going to take, the line the cue ball is going to take. And I would line that up and then start looking at my contact points without moving my head. My head is over that vision point is over the cue. It differs greatly. Even I can have the exact same angle if the cue ball's here, or if the cue ball's here. I can have the same angle, but this point, my vision center point, this contact point on the cue ball, that contact point on the three, it's just different. What I was doing wrong, and again, I was either told wrong or I just didn't understand what the guy was telling me, was there are two different things that I need to worry about. One is my vision line. I need to line up my eyes with this contact point on the cue ball and this contact point on the three. Line up my vision line with that. My shot line, which is where my cue is going to be, may or may not be on that vision line. And in the past, it's always been on that vision line because that's the way I was taught. And I was taught wrong. So I can take this shot now and I can line up. I'm using my vision center, which is about halfway for me this morning between the middle of my head and my right pupil. I can line up my vision center with the line between those two contact points. But my cue is what I call inside that. And I don't care. I don't care that my cue is not directly underneath my vision center. All I care about is, did the ball go in the hole? Yes, it did. In that case, it did. If I have a cut to my right, and I want to look at the same contact points again. I have this contact point over here on the 12. I have a corresponding contact point on the cue ball, which obviously I can't see, but I can see what's opposite it, and line those two up with my vision line. Now my cue stick in this case is outside of that vision line. I don't care. I don't care. I'm just trying to just maintain my focus on that vision line, and I guess trust the fact that I'm able to stroke halfway straight. After 40 years, I would hope I would be able to do that. To me, this is a pretty huge deal. It's something I really wish I would have understood or been taught a long time ago, because contact points are mathematically accurate at everything from full ball hit to the world's thinnest cut. I spent a lot of time in my life wishing that, let's say in the past, I'd be aiming at the ghost ball for this tin. Let me get my ghost ball, just so I can slosh through this water a little bit here. So in the past, if I'm going to shoot this tin, I'm imagining, I would imagine a ghost ball pointing at that corner, and then shoot the center of the cue ball at the center of that ghost ball. As I've lost depth perception over the years, well, A, the ghost ball doesn't really exist, so even trying to imagine it, I wouldn't see it as well. And if I would get to a point where it's a thinner cut, I don't think I had that placed quite right. Sure, I can still aim at the center of this ghost ball if I can imagine it correctly, but the center of it is like out in space. It's not even on the tin anymore. It's out in space. This just became tougher and tougher and tougher for me. And I always wished I had a way to aim a shot that was going to be the same if I'm going to shoot the one in this pocket, which is a pretty darn straight in shot, or the 10 in that same pocket, which is less than a half ball hit. Contact points can give me that. They can give me that. But the secret for me, a thing I didn't get, was line up my vision line between those contact points. Don't worry so much about what my shot line is. Trust the fact that my shot line is going to be okay. That it's going to be parallel and I can stroke straight and all that. So if I want to shoot this shot, I'm going to line up obviously this spot on the 10, which I can see clearly, the corresponding spot over on the cue ball, which I can't see, but I can see its opposite. And I can put those two things on my vision line, line those up. This is a cut to my right, so my cue stick is inside of that vision line. My shot line is inside my vision line. These are just terms I'm just using. But I don't care. I don't care. If I can maintain doing that correctly, then, Bob's your uncle. This is something that can be done for me on every shot. I can use these contact points on every shot, from the fullest possible hit to the thinnest possible hit. Now, what I found is, I guess probably because I'm lazy, is if I have a shot that's very close to straight in, maybe about like this, I'm looking at the beginner spot, which is just this contact point on the one. And then in my mind, I feel like I'm just aiming the cue ball, the center of the cue ball, at that spot on the one. The problem is, even for a shot like this, which is pretty close to straight, I cannot hit that contact point by aiming straight at it. Yet I'm still making the shots. I think that what's happening in a lot of these kind of cases is my inner pool player is doing like a double the distance thing. And I think, and I'm not noticing, I'm not caring, whatever. But I look at this and I feel like in my mind I'm aiming the center of the cue ball at that spot, but clearly I'm not because the ball went in. I must be doing something. My inner pool player must be doing something to compensate for that, and that's perfectly fine. It's two different aiming methods that I'm having to do. I'd rather just have one, but who am I to argue with my inner pool player? He's a hell of a lot better player than I am. I can take a shot, and I can do it either way. But what I found is if they're really close to straight in, I have to make a conscious effort to line up contact points. If just left to his own devices, my inner pool player is going to aim at that beginner spot. He's going to do some subconscious double distance stuff that's happening. And again, I don't care enough where I'm going to argue with him. If the ball goes in, then that's awesome. If the ball doesn't go in, then my inner pool player, I might have to have some words. If I get out like on a shot more like this, so here's my beginner spot on the 5. If I aim straight at that spot from here, I absolutely won't make the 5. I'll undercut the 5 by a mile. Even if I'm doing some kind of a double the distance thing subconsciously, now all of a sudden that double the distance aiming point is out in space. It's not on the 5 anymore. So in a case about like this, and I don't know how many degrees this is, it's approximately a half ball hit. Once I get out about there, then I do contact points, and I don't even have to force it. I don't have to force contact points. I just have to get lined up on them and get used to the fact that in this case, cut to my left, my shot line is out here. My vision line is still over here. I just have to get used to that fact. That's been the hardest thing for me to get used to, is that I have to, I hate it when it is, and to trust the fact that, well, I said fact, but I did just miss. To trust the fact that quite often I still stroke straight and don't have any, I'm not doing anything weird to like all of a sudden, oh gosh, I better veer back because my vision line and my shot line are not the same anymore. I better do something. Hoping that I'm not doing that. I don't think I am. I think I just missed a shot. Oh, to me, this has given me a little bit of new life as far as being able to play and feel like I'm able to still see well enough and execute the shots and things like that. My depth perception has gotten quite a bit worse. Hell, it seemed like over the last 6 months. And Ghost Ball just flat out was not working for me anymore. Half the time it would work, whatever. It's not like it never worked. Something about just luck a ball in though. And I could tell, man, I got lucky I made that shot. But if I have something for sure to be aiming at, and I know that I'm in the proper alignment, my vision line is correct, my stroke is still halfway straight, I don't care if my vision line and my stroke line are the same anymore. And that, to me, that was like the big change. The big difference for me is now I don't have to worry about that anymore. Because the ball is just going to go in. As long as I'm stroking straight, I know I can see correctly because I finally figured out that my vision line does not have to be the same as the shot line if the cue ball is getting ready to take. It's really only going to be the same if it's a perfectly straight in shot. Then those lines are going to do the same. Or I could get into a situation where, let's come out here. My cue stick is on this side of my vision line because it's a cut to my right. But let's say I want to put right English on it. Then my cue stick's going to come out here for right English, and that may put my cue stick right underneath, right on the same vision line again. It would be a coincidence though. It would just be a coincidence. I don't have to worry about it. All I have to worry about is lining it correctly and trust that most of the time I'm still going to be able to stroke straight until I can't anymore. So, those of you that have stuck around, I appreciate it. And again, Dave, you handsome devil, why are you wearing glasses? Well, there's a couple of reasons that I'm wearing these right now. I wanted to see what would happen. These are the glasses that I used to wear all the time before I got LASIK in 2012. I've talked about this before. I got LASIK in 2012 because I was pretty nearsighted. For me, for being a pool player, I was pretty nearsighted. In 2012, I had them correct this eye to be farsighted. This eye they did not touch. So these lenses are calibrated to the way my eyes were in 2012. And what happens for me right now is if I look at the camera with my left eye, it's pretty blurry because it's 8-9 feet away. If I look at the camera with my right eye, it's perfectly fine. If I put these on, which again are calibrated to the way my eyes used to be, it's a little bit blurry out of either eye. But it's like the same. It's like putting these on evened out my vision. Jordan, neither eye is perfect, but at least they're about the same. And so that's one of the reasons. The other reason is I found them, they were over there on a shelf, and I wanted to put them on and I don't know, see if they still fit. I was curious to see what they would do to my vision because it has been 13 years. I'm not going to keep wearing these. And even if I was going to keep wearing these, they don't affect pool. They don't affect my pool game because shooting a shot in pool, for me, I'm looking over the top of the glasses anyway. When I'm up here, sure. But when I'm shooting an actual shot, I'm up over the top. When I first got glasses and crap, I don't even know what year it was. Well, I guess it was 95 because I was 30 years old. That was my 30th birthday present from me to me was to get glasses just for pool. Most of the things I do in life are just for pool, seriously. I've got big giant frames, and I had the people that made the frames or made the glasses, I think it was lens crackers, put the focal point of the lens as high as they could. And those glasses, I was looking through them. If I'm down here, I'm looking through those glasses. But the thing is, I did look like possibly the biggest dork that ever lived. I only wore those glasses when I was shooting pool. After a while, I guess I decided to try to be a little bit more fashionable. I don't know how well that worked. And got things like the ones I'm wearing right now. But these are not plain pool glasses. They might be if my vision was so bad that I needed like reading glasses or something to rack balls down here, then yeah, sure, that could happen. I've seen a lot of players do that. They have reading glasses, and it helps them to rack the balls. But anyway, that's why I'm wearing them, because I wanted to see what would happen, and also because I found them, and that's That's really all it is. I'm not gonna. This might be the last time you ever see these. Don't know. All right. Thanks, guys.